Here's a picture if you want to see.
Yes. Did you try to place it?
Here.
Multiple injuries, drugs in the child's system, and the manner of death ruled a homicide.
I bet that he stopped breathing because all he did was, when I got to that car, it smelled like bad, like weed. I bet that he couldn't even breathe. But y'all found her.
I know, but we still have, I know, and this is part of the judicial system that we have to do.
No.
Not long, maybe like a minute, maybe less, a little bit of time to run.
Until what?
She stopped crying.
They killed her. He killed her. I know he did. I could have had that baby. I could have raised her.
A baby vanished for nearly a year, and no one noticed until her own family started asking questions. What police were about to dig out of the woods behind a quiet trailer would haunt every person who worked this case. This is how two people buried a child, lied to everyone who loved her, and very nearly got away with it.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you? Kiddo's home?
Yeah, they're sleeping.
The man at the door is Manuel Guillen Sr. Inside that trailer live his son Manny and Manny's girlfriend Brianna, and they're sitting on a secret a year in the making. Their baby daughter is dead. Her body is buried in the woods nearby, and for 12 months, they've gone on with their lives like nothing ever happened. It took Brianna's own family noticing the silence to set everything in motion. By the time detectives untangle the lies, both of them will walk free, and the people who loved that little girl will be left with the worst truth imaginable. This is the home of Aurelia and Manuel Sr., Manny's parents, and the last place anyone remembers seeing the baby alive. Police are here because of a missing child report. 2 days earlier, Eddy County deputies got a call from relatives of 24-year-old Brianna Stallings, and what those relatives said didn't sit right with anyone.
We were concerned about my cousin. Her name is Brianna Stallings. And we've never seen her with her baby anymore. She blocked us all on social media and everything. She's with a guy named Manny Guillen.
No one in the family had laid eyes on the child in close to a year. The last time anyone could place her was right here at Manny's parents' home. As far as these officers know, this is just a welfare check, a quick stop to confirm a baby is safe. They have no idea they're standing at the edge of one of the darkest cases of their careers.
Can we go talk over here? Would that be okay? I'm just gonna talk with them real quick. Do you know if baby?
Well, what I heard already, yes, I know what happened already. When I know that she was with my son, because one day they appeared over there, he had a problem, so she don't have nobody they take care of her, but she's pregnant. She's pregnant.
Did you know if the baby had been born? Did you ever see the baby?
No, when they born, they were together. They were together, and like I told you,
The father paints a picture of a young woman with nobody in her corner, cut off from her own family. Brianna had drifted toward Manny and his parents during her pregnancy, leaning on them for whatever support she could find. He talks like a man who has no idea anything is wrong, but the more he says, the clearer it becomes that he may know more about that missing baby than he even realizes.
So when she had the baby, where were they living?
After they had a baby, they went with me maybe a week, 2 weeks over there, and they went somewhere else.
So right after they had the baby, they lived with you for a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. They can visit here someday, yeah. And then they disappear because they went around where they were staying. I don't know.
Working through the language barrier, officers slowly fill in the gaps. Manny had served in the Marines, and by his father's account, he doted on the baby and treated her well. The old man had opened his door to the couple out of kindness, taking pity on a struggling girl with nowhere else to go. But he admits they were never stable, around for a while, then gone again, over and over. He thought he was helping two young people get back on their feet. He had no way of knowing this would become the single greatest regret of his life. Before leaving, officers also catch a few words with Manny's mother, and what little she says only deepens the unease.
So Manuel and Brianna never lived there when you were there?
Iban y venían.
They're coming with the baby?
No, la baby no nació en
She
julio.
wasn't at the house there when the baby was there.
Okay.
Have you ever visited it? And that's it.
Okay.
Speaking in Spanish, Manny's mother tells officers that whenever she asked about the baby, the couple always had the same answer. She's with a family member, don't worry, but she holds back the things she knows about her son's life, details that police will end up uncovering the hard way. For now, they leave with nothing but questions. No baby, no couple, no answers. Then, just as they're about to pull away, Manny's brother arrives and hands them their first real thread to pull.
Susan, man.
I'm Detective Johnson, man.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Nice to meet you. Hey, so we just talked to your mom.
Nobody's in trouble.
Yeah, no,
But see, I have no idea why the family contacted you guys. I told her to call me if she had any questions, that I would give her any information that I had, and I did that.
Called who?
Is
it Brianna or her family member? Or
her
what?
aunt.
Okay.
I got the messages right here.
And have you talked to Brianna or Manuel at all, or?
I talked to Brianna maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Okay. Have you seen her? Did she have her baby with her? Or?
I have not seen the baby since. It's been a couple of months now. Probably like 3, maybe more.
He tries to reassure them. The baby's with one of Brianna's aunts. He's sure of it, but there's doubt in his voice, and he admits he hasn't actually seen the child in months. So detectives start working down the family tree, calling aunt after aunt, and every single one says the same thing. That baby is not with me. Then one of them, a woman named Ruby, asks the detectives to come to her in person. She has things to say about Brianna and Manny that she needs them to hear face to face, and the moment they sit down with her, it's obvious this is about far more than a missing child.
I know something's going on because when Brianna was pregnant, she was here with me and she left. I raised Brianna since age 6. And I spoke to her brother earlier. I called him on my lunch break.
Is it Brian?
Brian.
Okay.
And asked him, hey, what's going on? I said, have you met your niece? Have you seen her? He says, no, I haven't. Because when she had her baby that day, she called me.
Yeah, and then you went to the hospital.
Yeah, I went right away, and he kind of got mad, the guy she's with.
Manny?
Yeah, because I was taking pictures.
She was already with Manny.
Yes. And he kind of got mad, and he whispered in her ear, and he walked out of the room. And I'm like, and I said, he's mad, huh? I told Brianna he got mad. She goes, yeah, don't pay attention to him.
This is the first crack in the picture. For the first time, the relationship between Brianna and Manny stops sounding troubled and starts sounding dangerous. A man bristling with anger in a hospital room that should have been full of joy. Ruby doesn't know it yet, but her gut is right about everything. In a matter of days, she'll be told a truth about her grandniece no one should ever have to hear. For now, the detective heads back to the station knowing one thing for certain. They have to find Brianna and Manny fast. And then, 2 days later, a new voice enters the story. A woman named Desiree, Brianna's former roommate, calls in. She's heard about the missing baby, and she has something to say about Manny that not even his own family had mentioned.
Her and Manny were fighting so bad. He said he didn't want the baby. He has a son, and I'm pretty sure that he had got that baby taken away because he beat the shit out of the baby. And so he doesn't have that kid anymore. The mom has the kid. Brianna, she lived with my mom for 2 years. She lived with me for 1.5 years. I've always been trying to help her out and stuff. Well, when she was pregnant, he had said that he didn't want to be with her. He didn't want the baby. He doesn't want a kid. That's why he got rid of his other kid. So it kind of worries me on that part,
It's a chilling claim. If Manny had already lost a child to abuse, then there was every reason to fear Brianna's daughter had met the same fate. The couple was starting to look volatile, unstable, and completely unfit to care for anyone, and every hour that passed made finding them more urgent. The break came the next day. A tip placed Brianna and Manny at Manny's father's trailer. Detectives moved on the address immediately, finally hoping to hear the couple's story straight from their own mouths. An officer knocks. Nothing. He knocks again. And when Brianna and Manny finally step outside, it's clear they already know exactly why the police are there, and they've got their story ready.
Where's your baby at right now?
She's with her friend.
Where's that?
In Juarez.
In Juarez? Okay. Who's your friend in Juarez?
Her name's Maria.
Maria. If you don't mind, I'm just going to talk to you guys individually real quick, and then I'm going to talk to both of you quick. So can you just hang out with him for a minute? Sure. And can I talk to you over here?
Yeah.
So, obviously, I don't know your personal life. I don't know anybody. I'm just trying to get it all figured out. And
no, that's fine. I'm just mad because
you're upset.
Yeah, because I don't talk to them at all. They're annoying and they're all in my life, and that's one reason why it's because I used to live with my aunt Ruby. She would put me through hell.
Like what?
Like she would always yell at me and say I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm doing. was this and that. So I don't like her knowing anything of what I do. She was very young. And then like her dog coming over here and like about my business and whatnot. That's one reason why I blocked them.
Is your friend, I mean, did you take your baby down there? Or
Yeah, I put her so she can take her because I'm going to get a lot of stuff for her.
So how'd you guys end up, so when did that happen?
That happened.
When did you
like
hand her over to
2 months ago.
2 months ago.
On the surface, it almost works. A girl, tired of a meddling family, sending her baby to a friend to get her life together. She even badmouths her Aunt Ruby, calling her anything but supportive. Nothing she says jumps out as an obvious lie, so the detective does the smart thing. He steps away and asks Manny the same questions, alone, to see if the two stories line up. They don't, and the first small crack is all it takes.
To the babies and waters? When did that happen? Roughly the day or the month? Beginning of the year? Like
Can you give me a card for the 300 block of Montclair?
Like February?
For the 18th.
Did they give you an address? Or like, how are you guys supposed to get in contact? Or what's the plan? Is she gonna go back for a baby at some point?
So as far as I knew, it's like once we got good and shit, we were gonna be, I guess she was gonna be hitting us up back then. So that's all I know, so.
Brianna said 2 months ago. Manny says the beginning of the year, and when pressed, neither of them can offer a single detail about this Maria. No address, no number, no way to reach her at all. When the detective circles back to Brianna, she comes up just as empty. Two parents who supposedly handed their baby to someone, and not one shred of proof that person even exists. That's the moment the officer decides he's heard enough. Both of them are detained and brought to the station. They're placed in separate rooms, still convinced their stories match. The police know better, and they intend to keep it that way. This is their one shot to find out what really happened to this little girl. And for the couple, a single wrong word could blow open the secret they've buried for a year.
And so, how'd you get in contact with Maria?
Through WhatsApp.
Through WhatsApp?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Yeah. I said 2 months. I told you.
2 months ago? Okay. Do you remember the day?
I don't remember the day.
Do you have the messages on WhatsApp from Maria?
This is you found another one. I can't remember either. It was like all kinds of, WhatsApp number 011 something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't.
How do you get in contact with her to check on the
She
baby?
told me she was gonna get a Facebook and like make one and talk to me through. I personally don't. That's all she told me.
You haven't talked to Maria
Never
at all?
since then.
New phone, no number, no messages, no contact in weeks. And not once does either of them sound like a parent who's actually worried about their child. What they don't know is that detectives have already chased down this mystery friend and confirmed she doesn't exist. The lie is dead. Now it's time to put it in front of Brianna and watch it fall apart.
Something happened, something that you don't, whether or not Kalani's okay or not, something happened. After this happened, you guys discussed this, tried to come up with a story talking about a person that we know nothing about, with no proof that Marie even exists. So what happened? Mistakes happen, really. What you do right now is what matters.
And that's when Brianna breaks. She admits her daughter is dead. For several minutes, she can barely speak, but through the tears, a story takes shape. She says she fell asleep on the baby in the car and smothered her by accident. Panicked, she and Manny carried the little girl into the woods and buried her, where she lay for nearly a year. Then she does something telling. She takes all of it on herself, insisting over and over that Manny had nothing to do with it. The detectives give her a moment alone, and when they come back, their goal is clear. Get the truth about Manny's role and find out exactly where that baby is buried.
Would you be willing to drive up to Queens right now and kind of show us where we need to go?
I'm right.
You're going to go with us? Yeah, you're okay going with us? Yeah. How'd you get here?
Manual?
Yeah.
With the confession out, Brianna goes oddly calm, composed, almost relieved, like a weight has finally lifted. In the next room, Manny still has no clue she's confessed and taken the fall for both of them. He's about to find out, because the detectives are about to load them both into a car and drive them to the one place on Earth they hoped no one would ever go. When the two are brought back together, the look on Manny's face says everything. He knows she's talked. And then they all head out, deep into the woods, on a walk that ends in a nightmare.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Manu.
Don't worry about me. Got it.
There's no idea where the rock's at.
Where the rock is?
Where the rock are?
I'm sorry?
The bigger rock is
The one right in the hot spot.
Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah, she's buried in
That one just sticking out there like a big old pimple.
with all those stakes or things.
She's underneath the rock?
Yeah, she's underneath it, yeah.
Those rock. Start walking back?
Yeah. I marked it.
Okay.
She points to a rock. Underneath it, she says, is her daughter, but it's already dark, and the detectives won't rush this. They mark the spot and tell the couple to come back at noon the next day. For now, incredibly, Brianna and Manny aren't even detained. On paper, they're still just two people caught in a terrible accident, exactly the version they've been selling. The truth is something else entirely, and the police are now only hours from pulling it out of the ground. The next morning, Brianna returns to the site. Manny doesn't. He stays in the detective's car and refuses to go anywhere near the grave. So Brianna leads investigators back into the trees, forensic team in tow, to give them the confirmation they've been dreading.
Yeah, but that was over there.
That was over there.
Okay, I can check with it, because that's pretty much.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's kind of like checking this right there, that big old,
They find her, the worst fear confirmed. But as the team examines the tiny remains, something stops them cold. Even after a year in the ground, the body still shows what look like injuries. Injuries that don't fit a story about falling asleep in a car. Suddenly, Brianna's accident doesn't hold together. So while forensics work the scene, a detective sits down with Manny to test whether Brianna's been telling the truth or covering for him. And what comes out of his mouth answers the question instantly. This is a man who will not take the blame for anything.
Was the baby, was the baby in a backpack? Did you put the baby in something?
Just bags. And blankets.
And where you roughly showed us, that's where you remember to the best of your knowledge as well.
No emotion, no remorse. Just an accident, he says, and one that was all Brianna's doing. With her already taking the entire fall, the detectives have nothing solid to hold against him. Yet, so they let it ride. The remains are sent for autopsy, and here's where the police make a move that looks bizarre on the surface. They could arrest both of them on the spot for hiding the body, but instead, they let the couple walk out the door. It's not a mistake, it's a gamble. With no autopsy and no cause of death, an arrest now means lawyers, silence, and a case that goes nowhere. But if they wait for the medical evidence and then come back swinging, they might just get a confession. The risk is enormous, because the second those two are free, they can run. And what the detectives don't yet know is that Manny has family across the border in Mexico. For the next week, investigators sit on the autopsy and start building everything they can around it. They're certain Brianna is shielding Manny, and with his history of abusing a child and a wife, foul play feels almost inevitable. To understand the couple better, they go to see Brianna's Aunt Ruby at her work, and Ruby still has no idea her grandniece is gone. Sitting across from the detective, Ruby pours out the history, how she'd raised Brianna from the age of 6, how thrilled the girl had been to become a mother, and how everything curdled the moment Manny came into the picture. She describes a hostile, controlling man, brothers sending money for a baby niece no one was ever allowed to meet, and excuse after excuse about an aunt supposedly caring for the child. An aunt Ruby knew didn't exist. And as she talks, she starts to sense the detective already knows something terrible that she doesn't.
The baby, there was a...
But y'all found her.
I know, but we still have... I know, and this is part of the judicial system that we have to...
No. They should be locked up. They should be locked up. Taking her to her doctor's visits or anything.
So it's still under investigation. There's still a lot of questions we have, okay?
Well, what are they saying?
Again, we haven't really spoke to them, okay?
They're going to be gone.
Johnson.
If you go find them, they're going to be gone. He's had his family in Mexico. He has family. His mom's from Mexico. They have family in Juarez.
Even in her grief, Ruby hands the detectives a warning they hadn't fully weighed. With Manny's roots in Mexico, this couple could disappear for good, and her read on Brianna, a follower, easily controlled, lines up with everything else they've heard, and explains why she'd be willing to take the fall for a man who may have done far worse. But Ruby is shattered, and the cruelest part of this conversation hasn't even come yet.
Do you know who the dad is of the baby?
No, we don't know him.
Nobody knows?
Nobody knows who he is.
The baby has been sent to Albuquerque for an autopsy.
How many months was she?
So you're going to do
it before she turned 1?
Probably.
Oh my God.
I don't know how old she was exactly, but I'm guessing a month to 2 months.
When she passed away.
A month, maybe 2 months old. That's all the life this child got. Ruby wants justice now, even if it means her own niece is behind bars. But the detectives still can't prove how the baby died or who did it, and arresting too soon could sink the whole case, so they hold the line and wait. It's safer play. It also hands the couple exactly what they need: time to run. More than 2 months later, the autopsy finally lands, and it's worse than anyone imagined. Multiple injuries, drugs in the child's system, and the manner of death ruled a homicide. For the first time, the police have it in writing. This was no accident. Now they just have to find which one of them did it and where the two of them have gone. Detectives fan out to every address they have. Everyone comes up empty. Days turn into weeks, and it starts to look like Ruby was right all along, that the couple slipped away and got away with killing her grandniece. Then, 8 weeks in, a tip. In February, Brianna and Manny are back, lying low at Manny's father's trailer. It's the first real lead since the autopsy, and the orders are clear. Stay calm, don't spook them, and get them to come in willingly. The goal is a confession, not a chase.
Some things have come up, and I would want to know if you'd like the chance or the opportunity to speak with us on it. Okay, would you mind going to our station, just sit down and have a conversation where it's a little more...
Yeah, let me ask them. And okay.
You'll go? Okay.
You just want to share some things up. So.
Yeah.
We'll give you a ride and then we'll bring you right back.
Not one question. Brianna just climbs into the back of the cruiser, eerily calm for someone who's been off the grid for months. And what happens next is even stranger. When officers call Manny out.
One more time.
One more time, huh? One more
How's
time.
it going?
Hey.
Good, good. You mind coming and talking with us? Are you good with that? Okay.
Cool.
All right. We're good.
We're gonna ride over, yeah.
Just as a precaution, I'm just gonna pat you down to make sure you don't have any. Okay.
Same thing. No questions, no resistance, no hesitation. Bizarre cooperation from two people who'd been ghosts for 2 months. Both are driven to the station and split up immediately. This time, Detective Amanda Keller runs both interrogations, and the stakes couldn't be higher. She has to figure out which one of them killed the child, or whether they were in it together. Get it wrong, and prosecutors may never pin a murder on anyone. For Brianna and Manny, the math is just as brutal. One slip means a possible life sentence, but if they both hold the same line, they might walk away with nothing more than a tampering charge, or walk away clean for the second time.
But the actual thing was we were in the bed and I flipped over him.
So you woke up, baby was cold, you started doing CPR. What about Manny? What is Manny doing?
You know, I mean, I tried doing it myself, but then he freaked out, like, oh shit, like, what's happening?
Okay, and then what did you decide to do?
I just put a plastic bag and everything and decided to do that.
Still an accident, still all her fault, still protecting Manny at every turn. But Brianna doesn't know what's sitting in the detective's folder. An autopsy that flatly contradicts every word she's saying, and Keller is about to start using it.
So she did test positive for... Do you know why that would be?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you use... Does Manny use... Has he used...
He hasn't used it whenever we got together or anything that I know.
Okay.
We're just trying to figure out why are these lab results telling us this? We know you know. Did he use often? It's a very addicting drug.
It is.
Does he still use? No. Well, that's good.
No. He changed to weed to make him like, you know, not withdrawal.
Yeah.
Like him to choose.
That's good. How long did he use for?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like some months? Is it some years?
She dances around it, but the hesitation says plenty. She's still working harder to protect Manny than to explain how her own daughter ended up dead. But that's about to end, because Keller has more from the autopsy, the kind of detail that points to something only a monster could do to an infant.
So when we review the autopsy, there were also some injuries to her bones. And one was before she had passed. Do you know why she would have injuries to her or to her leg? Did you ever leave her with anybody? So it was primarily either you or Manny around her at all times.
Did you really fall asleep on Kalani?
Yeah.
That's what killed her?
Were you guys arguing and he may have taken it out on Kalani, or was she upset?
I just feel like he didn't like the crying all the time.
Come here.
This was just one time?
I feel like it's all the time.
All the time? But when he hurt her, was this just one time or was this all the time?
It was just once.
Once.
He would never, like, ever, just that time.
So he just lost his cool.
It's kind of get out of hand.
He seems like a real mellow guy.
Yeah.
And there it is. For the first time, Brianna stops pointing the finger at herself. He didn't like crying. It's the first time she's let Manny anywhere near the blame. The detectives back off and give her a break, careful not to push so hard she shuts down completely. But when they return, something in her has changed, and the truth she's buried for a year is finally about to surface.
Do you really think he's going to be honest, or do you think he's going to put it on you?
I'm not really sure. If you put it on me, I'll be like, you did it, not me.
That's why we're giving you
It's fine if you tell it. It's fine if he blames me.
Why is that fine?
That shouldn't be fine.
You think that's right?
No.
Why did you say earlier if you felt like if you had met somebody else that...
Because none of this would happen.
Why is that?
I don't know, I just feel like he's different, like, ever since he went to the military.
It's okay, bro.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
How do you want to?
The whole story is unraveling in real time. She says the military changed Manny, that without him, her little girl would still be alive. By the end, even the detectives are fighting back emotion. With Brianna's side finally on the record, they move her out and turn to the person they're now sure is the real killer. The plan this time is different. Hit him with the evidence early and watch whether his story survives next to hers. But Manny has dodged consequences for over a year. He thinks he can talk his way out of this one too. And the terrifying part is, he might be right.
What kind of medication did you take that night?
I didn't take medication. I took pills that affect.
So what does that normally do to you? How does that affect your body?
It knocks me out.
It does what, I'm sorry?
It knocks me out.
Knocks you out, like just makes you tired?
Just puts me to sleep, just out cold.
Okay. Okay, so even in that time, right, she can't hold her head up, right? She can't crawl. So she's very dependent on somebody, right? To hold her, to move her, right? She can't just put something in her mouth or however. Okay, so how would she have... So who else could have been around her and smoked it or somehow...
No goodness.
Okay, that doesn't make sense to me. Do you see how we're kind of... If you're it, how did the baby get a hold of it?
That's what I don't understand either.
He admits he was on drugs that night, and a baby who can't even lift her own head couldn't possibly have gotten them on her own. The logic boxes him in completely. He's now the prime suspect, and the detectives stop circling. They put the murder squarely on him and wait to see if he cracks.
Manuel, I'm going to be honest with you. We know what happened. Like, the facts don't lie on the autopsy report, okay? We know that the injuries occurred before death. Alright, so that CPR doesn't play a fact, okay? So medical examiners have a way of proving injuries before death because the bone will actually start to try to heal almost immediately. Does that make sense? You're still getting blood flow and all that kind of stuff. I don't know the science behind it, but based off what happened, the injuries were prior to death, meaning she was still alive when the injuries occurred. All injuries. Does that make sense?
Manny doesn't flinch, stone-faced, silent, weighing his options. This is the knife's edge of the entire case. One word, lawyer, and the whole thing could collapse, leaving him free to walk a third time. What he says next decides everything, not just for him, but for Brianna, too.
Tell us, man. I already know.
I mean, she was being fussy, and I got upset, and grabbed her by her leg and yanked her, and she wouldn't stop crying, so I sat on top of her.
Okay.
And that was it.
How long did you sit on top of her?
Not long. Maybe like a minute. Maybe less, a little bit.
Until what?
She stopped crying. And then that's it.
When did you know that she had died?
Whenever I got her, she stopped crying, so I thought she was like, oh, well, I checked her, and she wasn't breathing.
Okay. And then what?
And that's when we started doing CPR.
Okay. Were you panicking? Didn't know what happened? Why didn't y'all call 911?
That was my call. Brianna wanted to call him, but I told her not to.
You just freaked out and just were scared?
What was Brianna doing when everything was happening?
I think she was in the kitchen. I don't know. When she came in, I told her, I was like, he's not breathing. Get CPR.
There it is, the full horrifying truth. A baby wouldn't stop crying, so he yanked her by the leg and sat on top of her until she went quiet, for good. With the confession out, both are arrested. Manny for child abuse resulting in death, Brianna for tampering with evidence and helping bury her own daughter. And yet, despite a recorded murder confession, neither of them stays behind bars. As of September 2025, both have been released on bond while they await trial. Right now, they're free, unsupervised, unrestricted, able to vanish at any moment. Manny is likely looking at life if he's convicted, and Brianna at a far shorter sentence for her role in hiding the body, but only if they actually show up to court. And with Manny's family waiting just across the border, there's always a chance these two slip away one last time.